In the last class, we saw that Lord Krishna taking a different approach. Until verse number 30, Lord Krishna was talking about Atma. He was trying to educate Arjuna that everything is Atma. Apart from that, there is nothing. Anything apart from Atma is unreal. And so, killing all these people who are in front of you is not that you are killing them, and no one is killed and no one can be killed. So he gave all the definitions and characters of Atma, and from verse number 31, that is up to verse number 30, from verse number 12, Lord Krishna was talking on the philosophical angle, educating Arjuna and of course all of us on what is this Atma is all about. And from verse number 31, Arjuna, Lord Krishna takes a different route. Why? Because in case if Arjuna is going to think that, I'm not fully convinced with Atma philosophy, or I'm not interested in this Atma philosophy. All is that I don't want to kill them. I don't want to fight this war. So now what Lord Krishna says is that yes, philosophical angle is over. Now let me take you through the ethical aspect, the dharma aspect. So from verse number 31, Lord Krishna takes into the dharma route to make the Arjuna understand, even as per dharma, you have to fight this war. So in verse number 31, Lord Krishna talks about the Swadharma. You should not be afraid to execute your Swadharma, and for a king, for a Kshatriya, there is nothing like executing one's own dharma. And when the war is for fighting to save the dharma, a king should be more eager to come and do this war. So one, he says the Kshatriya's Swadharma is to fight the war, and the second aspect he is saying is that it is not just fighting the war, but when the war is to safeguard the dharma, when the war is to kill the adharma or destroy the adharma, then a Kshatriya should not hesitate to apply or work on his Swadharma. So he tells Arjuna, you should not be afraid in executing your Swadharma. So for this we saw different types of dharmas are there, like Samanya Dharma, Raja Dharma, and in exceptional cases they are there. So here Kshatriya's Swadharma is to fight a war, and that too when the war is for the cause of dharma. And from there he moves on to verse number 32, in which he says that when you get a chance like this to fight a war for saving dharma, it says it's a chance. This Kurukshetra war, Arjuna, is a chance for you. And you know what is this chance of fighting a war for saving the dharma? He says it is equal to the Swargaloka's gate kept open when you are coming. There is no time spent even to open the door. It is already kept open. All you need to just enter into the Swargaloka. So he compares with the open door, a door kept open of the Swargaloka, to the chance that Arjuna got to fight this war, Dharma Yudh. Why do we say it is a chance? Because in spite of even the last effort by Yudhishthira to go for a peace talk, and Krishna went for Samadhana, peace talk, Kauravas, Duryodhanadis never accepted this. They want the war. So Arjuna We never went for the war, but it has come to you, the Dharma Yuddha has come to you by chance. It's an opportunity, and a king who gets an opportunity like this will be very, very happy. So Arjuna, be happy to fight this Dharma Yuddha. And in 33 we saw that if you miss to execute your Swadharma, that is to fight this Dharma Yuddha, then you will be a sinner of killing your Swadharma as well as your name and fame. So what Lord Krishna says in verse number 33 is that if you are not executing your Swadharma, it is also a sin. It's very, very, see, doing adharma is also a sin. But more than that, the sinner part is not executing your Swadharma. So Lord Krishna emphasizes that what that you are supposed to do in your life, if you miss to do, then that is the biggest sin. And Arjuna, you are now doing that sin. Not only not following your Swadharma, but also you are killing your name and fame. That name and fame we will see in the subsequent verses. So another learning for us, for all of us, is not doing the wrong thing alone is sin. Not doing the right thing at the right time is also a sin, and this sin is greater than all the other sin. So he says, Arjuna, don't miss fighting this adharma and fighting this Dharma Yuddha and become a sinner. And moving to verse number 34, which was the last verse we saw in the last class, he says that now people will forever deprecate you. When an admirable person is abused by others, it is worse than death. He says here that up to 33, Lord Krishna talks about the ethical part. Now he moves on to the worldly part. He says that you have a name and fame, Arjuna. As he said in the verse number 33, you are killing your name and fame. You know, when people starts deprecating you, talk ill about you, starts abusing you, your fame, they will do that forever, Arjuna. It's not something that's going to happen now and it stop. It will happen for generations. And a person like you, a person who is admired for your valor, for your courage, for your skills in archery as well as in the scriptures, Arjuna, you are such an admirable person, and you have been admired even by your enemies. Like the Bhishmacharya admires you, Dronacharya admires you, even Duryodhana, even though he is an enemy, he respects your skills, he respects your value. So don't lose that. They will start abusing all those things. They will say Arjuna is scared. From there we move on to verse number 35, a continuation of this. You know what happens? All the chiefs, they called us Atirathas, all these chiefs of the armies will think that you withdraw from the war due to fear. That is verse number 35, which is that we are going to see in this class. So in 34, what Lord Krishna said is that they will forever deprecate you, talk ill about you. Okay, and that is the worst thing that can happen than a death. Being alive, hearing people talking ill of you, cheap about you, is worst, is more torturous than the death. And from there Krishna picks up and he says, who all will think, what they will think, the chiefs of the armies. You know what the chiefs of the armies will think? You got scared to fight the war and you ran away. Arjuna, you want that to happen? Are you a person who will fear to fight a war? You are such a famous warrior. You have not only won many wars in this earth, you have also won many wars in Indraloka. Even Lord Indra invited you to fight for him. Such a great person. You want these your opposition parties to talk like this. You ran away from the war because of fear. And now listen, Arjuna, who are these people? These are the people with whom you have achieved great name and fame. As I told you, all these Duryodhanadis and Bhishmacharyas and Dronacharyas, within these people you have achieved your name and fame. With the same people, within the same people, you will lose all those things and you will become small, which means you will become nothing in front of. So in verse number 35, Lord Krishna wants to touch the ego of Arjuna. Because for us, name and fame is very, very important. We are all fighting for that. We are all struggling for that. One, to achieve that name and fame. And second, after achieving that name and fame, you fight, you struggle, you do anything to retain it, not to lose it. If a student who is continuously scoring 90 plus, and he will do everything, he will take all the steps to make sure in the coming exams also he will be scoring 90 plus. He don't want, because now he has created, or he has earned the name that is an excellent student in the school. He always scores more than 90%. And you become famous in the school. And when the student becomes so famous, now his next important task is to see that nothing that he does spoils the name that he has earned, the fame that he has earned. Yes or no? It is applicable to anyone. For someone who is working somewhere, who has done all that hard work and achieved that name and fame in the organization, his managers appreciate him, senior managers, top managements appreciate him. And now what is this important thing that runs in his mind? I should never lose. I should not do anything that will bring defame to me, or that will spoil that name and fame that I have earned in this organization. People go to any extent to achieve that. And if something happens that defames them, then they are hurt so much. There are cases where people have committed suicide, or they have got into depression because they lost their name and fame which they have earned over the years. Now what does this name and fame does for us? The name and fame, it not only you get your name and fame, you also become an egoistic person. Now you are identifying yourself with this name and fame. And anything that happens to the name and fame, you feel that something has happened to you. And there the struggle comes now. People get into depression. People commit suicide. So that is what happens with name and fame. The ego that comes in. And you prove all the time. Whatever you do, you are doing only to prove that what you have earned is absolutely right. You deserve that. There are people who take a lot of stress to maintain that. They are not able to enjoy anything. They become so conscious about it wherever they go. Even when they are alone, they become so conscious about their name and fame, and they become so watchful of their actions, and they fail to enjoy. It is like a great person, a big guy who has got a very good status in the society. Once he gets into a theatre, he wants to see a movie, and the movie is an excellent movie, a superhero that he likes. He's been enjoying this hero right from his childhood or so. There are some excellent scenes coming. People around him are enjoying like anything. They are blowing whistles. They are whistling, clapping, laughing heavily. But now this person doesn't do anything. He keeps quiet, He's very conscious about the surrounding. There are people sitting around me who knows me. They know me as a great person in the society. And being such a person, how can I whistle in the theatre? How can I clap? How can I jump in the seat? How can I laugh louder? So what does he do? He is under stress. Even though there is an opportunity to enjoy in the theatre, his very consciousness, that ego in him prevents. He sees the movie and comes out. Maybe he curses himself. There are many famous people, artists, singers, cine actors, famous people. They say that we don't have any privacy when we go out, because they want to behave in a certain way, but they could not behave because they feel this may hurt their name and fame. So Lord Krishna now gets into that area and want to tease Arjuna, want to provoke Arjuna in that area. Arjuna, if you are not okay with the Atma philosophy, if you are also not willing to follow the Dharma, if you still feel, Arjuna, this is my last weapon to you. What is that? Make sure you are an admirable person. You are admired even by your enemies. You are admired not only in this loka, you are also admired in other lokas also. Now, do you want to do an act which will bring down this admiration? You want to do an act where the same people who admired you should talk ill about you, to talk cheap about you? Think, Arjuna, and just don't be a coward. Run away and spoil all the name and fame you earned all these years. So that's what Lord Krishna is now, the last step, the last weapon Lord Krishna using here is to touch upon the ego of or the ego of Arjuna. And for us also it is the same thing. If anyone touches on our ego, then we become a coward. If anyone touches on our ego, we become very sensitive, we become very reactive. When someone says, hey, your friend says that you can't do that, and then what happened? Who is that guy who told that I can't do that? Hey, this is your friend, yeah, so and so told that you can't do that. I will prove that I can do that, and you jump in doing that and prove it. So egoistic persons can be easily provoked. Just like that people can provoke them. That's what Lord Krishna is doing here with Arjuna. So in verse number 36 he continues. What he says? Your enemies will spread rumors in such low words about you, your capabilities, that is, there is no other sorrow or pain like that. Or the question is that, is there any other sorrow or pain compared to the spreading about your capabilities in such a low, cheap words by your enemies? And he tells Arjuna, Arjuna, see what your enemies will do. They'll spread the rumors because they have the power. They are ruling the kingdom. They have the power. They have people with them. Their media is with them. Everything is with them. It is very easy for them to spread wrong things about you. Not just wrong things, Arjuna. They will spread. They will use such low words. They will swear on you. They will use such low words, Arjuna. On what? About your capabilities. They will say, Arjuna is good to fight small wars. Arjuna do not have the capability to fight a big war like this. He is a coward. And anyone can, even the lowest level warrior in the hierarchy of the army, can even make such a lowly comment about you, Arjuna. And don't you think that will be more painful? That is one brings sorrowness, which any other thing can bring that sorrowness. So Arjuna, please think. So this is what Lord Krishna wants to say. And this is applicable for us also. Now, is it right or wrong? Is it that Lord Krishna is trying to establish through these 3 verses that you should take care of your name and fame and do nothing that spoils your name and fame? No, as you go into the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna will say, what is this name and fame is all about? Your name and fame are only for your body and mind, not for Atma. This is here, Lord Krishna, as I told you, Sama, Dhana, Veda, Danda. Use all the methods applicable according to the situation. That doesn't mean you are endorsing that. Lord Krishna doesn't endorse at any point of time that name and fame is very important and work towards it. Not only achieving name and fame, but also to maintain that. No, Lord Krishna doesn't endorse that at all. As we get into the Bhagavad Gita, we will slowly start understanding that how important that we need to detach ourselves from this body and mind complex. But here, he wants to provoke Arjuna and he says, stand up Arjuna and fight the war. So don't give opportunity for others to talk lowly about you. Don't give opportunities for others to swear on you, on your capabilities. Get that courage. So in verse number 35, 34, 35 and 36, Lord Krishna touches upon the ego aspect. And in 37 he concludes that, Arjuna, look at this. If you are killed in this Dharma Yudh, you are going to get that Swargaloka. You are going to go to Swargaloka. But if you win, Arjuna, you get this kingdom. You can joyfully rule this kingdom. So take a strong decision, Arjuna, to fight the war. Get up, Arjuna. So that's where he concludes with this 37. All the 3 steps that Lord Krishna tried. The philosophical aspect, the ethical or the dharma aspect, and the third one is the personal, the ego aspect. So he says that either way you are going to get the right result, the punya. What is that punya? He says, one, if you even lose the battle and die here, you are going to get the Swargaloka. You are going to go to the Swargaloka. And if you win this war, Arjuna, joyfully you are going to rule this kingdom. So don't worry about this. And that is where he concludes with this part. And he says, in either case, whether you get killed or you win, Arjuna, it is still going to be a benefit for you. Why? You are fighting a war for the cause of dharma. You are doing your swadharma. So whether you win the war or lose the war, still you are benefited. It is punya for me. But if you run away from the swadharma, you become a sinner and you are going to accumulate papa. Not only that, you are giving opportunities for all the others, all those people who admired you, all those people who had respect for you, all those people who were afraid of you, those people will now laugh at you, criticize you, and they will abuse you. And this will happen forever. So, with all those things, now we will see one more verse here in verse number 38. One last opportunity. He says that how this war will never become a sin. He says, Arjuna, thinking these as equal and fight the war. What are these here? Joy and sorrow as equal, loss and gain as equal, victory and defeat as equal, and you fight the war. And if you fight the war like that, what happens? You fight the war. It is like if you fight the war like this, you will not attain papa, or you will not attain sin. In the last verse 37, he said, it is punya. Either you will go to Swargaloka or you will get the kingdom. That is punya. Now in verse number 38 he says it's not only you're going to get the punya by fighting, doing your swadharma, but by keeping these things equal, joy and sorrow, loss and gain, victory and defeat as equal, and fighting the war, Arjuna, it will never bring sin to you, or it will never become a sin. Now what we have to understand here is, what is this papa and punya? How do we know that this is papa and punya? Now papa and punya are not something that is there for us to visibly see. It's not an object, it is only an experience. It is only my way of experience something becomes papa and punya. Sorrow and joy are my experience. They are not real. What I consider an incident as a sorrowful incident, for someone it will be a joyful incident. What I think I lost, for someone it is going to be a gain. What I thought I got defeated, for someone it is going to be a victory. A same incident, for one it is a defeat, another one is a victory. For one it's a loss, the other one it's a gain. For one it's a sorrow, for the other one it's a joy. How can that be? One incident brings joy for someone and sorrow for someone. If we apply some logical approach to this, we will understand it can one incident create these two feelings, in one person sorrowness and in other person joyfulness. How can this be possible? If it is sorrow, then for everyone it is sorrow. If it is joyful, then for everyone it should be joyful. But that's not the case. We all know that. When we watch these cricket matches, or for that matter any sports, one team is defeated and they put their hands on their head, but the other team which has won the game, they jump in the air joyfully. They enjoy that moment. Fans of the winning team, they jump in the air, all high fives, everything happens. But the fans who are in the team which is defeated, they feel sorrowful, they have pain, they are not able to enjoy that. It's one match, end of the day. You are going to gleefully fight this war. Why? Because you have understood that all those things, these two things, what we call it as a duality, is imaginary, they are not real. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.